Rob, obviously, LeBron James is at the forefront of any league-wide social justice talk. And so the question, I think, that's appropriate, you know, I think tell me if you disagree with me, Rob. I think there is no doubt that LeBron James is the most outspoken. I mean, outside of obviously Colin Kaepernick, who's not in the league now, and hasn't been for the past 4 years. But you can even say, if you want, he and Kaepernick are the athletes who have most defined this generation in terms of, off the field, off the court, social issues. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, only because LeBron has a platform and he has been vocal on most things, not everything. He's not perfect at all as far as, just always being out front. And I get that. Nobody is perfect.
Right.
Colin Kaepernick's had a bigger impact, I think, because he gave up. LeBron knows he's not giving up anything, and that's not a knock on him, Chris, because he's a star player, the face of a league. Right. Sneaker company, he has his own company. Do you know what I mean? Like he's bulletproof. Kaepernick was more vulnerable.
LeBron hasn't done anything as great, and he's done great things, but he hasn't made a sacrifice. How about that?
That's what I'm saying.
And I guess you could say, if you want to say, by him speaking out, he may be sacrificing, people who might buy his sneakers or whatever. I guess if you want to, I wouldn't really call that a huge sacrifice at this point in time. But what he's done is tremendous. The question now that some are asking, where does he, historically, does he belong in the Ali category, or does he belong in the Bill Russell, Jim Brown category, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Or where are you thinking, Jim Brown? Where are you thinking? I have my thoughts, but I want to hear yours first, unless you just want me to share.
No, you can go ahead. I'll listen to you and play off of that.
I think that LeBron, and here's really what I think. Ali is by himself, and Kaepernick may move up toward that, get close to Ali, because he made the ultimate sacrifice. He gave up his career. And, ultimate sacrifice in an athletic sense. He gave up his career for other people. That's a great sacrifice. Obviously, you got Pat Tillman, who gave up his life, to go fight for America. So he certainly has his own place. But we're primarily talking about African-American athletes who have had to fight for social justice issues here in America. But Ali is by himself because the thing about Ali that most people just don't seem to understand is when he made that stand not to go to war, to fight in Vietnam. They weren't even going to have him fight, but they were going to put him in the army, in the military. When he said no, and he'll go to jail instead of going over there, he did not know that he would fight again. And this is a guy who, since he was 12 years old, and we know the story, got his bike stolen, had become a boxer, and was, his life's dream was to become the heavyweight champion of the world. He had it, and he was willing to give it up. And I think today we think it was a 3-year hiatus. He knew he was going back. No.
And not
for all
not
he knew, he was done, right?
And not the temperature of the country. You got to remember,
right?
Back then, the idea of being a draft dodger was not anything that people were proud of. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was a tough tag to shake, Chris. So I agree. I don't think he knew where it was going to turn. He didn't think he was going to be in Atlanta lighting the Olympic torch for the United States. Did he? There's no way he could have thought that. No way.
No way.
No, none.
And now, let me say this. So Ali is just, mythical. Really. He's mythical. And a lot of it's been romanticized. So I don't think LeBron will ever get there unless, he does something else going forward that just blows our minds. But I think LeBron has done more and will do more practical things for the advancement of African Americans, practical things, than Ali. LeBron has started a school where it's about like 1,000 kids are going to get scholarships. If they get through his program, they get scholarships to college. LeBron has just his high school friends. He's turned 2 of them into absolute business moguls. He obviously has his own production company, and media-wise, he's been at the forefront, the cutting edge of changing the way that athletes share their stories. He's not the only one. You got the Players Tribune, you got social media in and of itself, but through his uninterrupted company, they don't need to go through the media. They can do it themselves. So he has done so many tremendous things tangibly, more than Ali did. And while I am critical, or was critical of him, as were you, for not speaking out against China, and Ali, I guess, to my knowledge, may not have been asked about it, but Ali fought in nations that were dictatorships. I mean, the Rumble in the Jungle with George Foreman was in Zaire, which was a independent black country by then. But Mobutu Sese Seko, who ran the country, he was a dictator and was hoarding the money from his country and did terrible things to some of his people. And Ali didn't say anything about that. So that's why some of it's become mythical with Ali. And that will keep him ahead of LeBron again, unless LeBron does something incredible going forward.
Yeah,
which,
but
if he wanted to, he could become, I think he could become president. If he did that, I think you'd have to put him above Ali. But I think he's done more tangible things than Ali, but he hasn't reached that status and may never reach that status that Ali's at.
But I also think that the reason, and here's the other part, and I'm not just trying to nitpick or whatever, but the China thing that you just talked about, that was a situation where it wasn't going to be good for him because he has sneakers and he has business over there, and he chose to act like he didn't know what was going on. I think that's where you lose some points, and that's where this whole thing about being conscious and being woke and all that. You could say, Chris, you don't want, like you don't want to get involved or whatever, but to act like you didn't know what was going on, and I just thought that was convenient because of his business interests, and that's what happens when you're in these things now. Is it's very difficult to be true and honest because there's so many relationships and issues that come. And it's not just LeBron, Chris. I'm just talking about in general. There's conflicts everywhere.
Right.
There just are. You talk about LeBron saying something. Why is the NBA in China then? You know what I mean?
Well,
if what they're doing with Hong Kong, why is Amazon there? Or why we could go on and on and on, but I'm just saying
all these places.
Yes, but when LeBron had the chance, is all I'm saying, and you said it, I think at the time, he swung and missed because he acted as if he didn't know.
I don't think he swung.
Yeah, and the reality is
he took the
third strike because he knew. And as people said, don't say anything. All your sneakers over there. You go over there for a tour every offseason. You know what I mean? There's millions of dollars that come from there. There are more Chinese people than any other people on the planet. Do you know what I mean? Like that stuff starts to count.
Well, I think that, and I agree. And like I said, I was critical of LeBron, and he should have spoken up. That would have been on brand for sure.
Yeah, and you didn't have to go all in. It was just about the select. It was about democracy.
He actually was critical of Daryl.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That was the part that was weird.
And my thing is, and this goes for LeBron and this goes for the NBA as well. While I criticize both. While they should have spoken out, I would have liked to seen them spoken out or speak out.
Right.
I'm not just going to kill them, no, because so many American corporations are doing the same thing, turning a blind eye to what's going on over there. And so I'll be critical of the NBA and LeBron for not speaking up about it, but I'll be critical of all the American corporations that are doing the same thing. And what I said at the time, and I do believe this, that could have been LeBron's Ali moment. And to be honest, that may have put him ahead of Ali, because that would have been Ali obviously is an international figure, but that would have been standing up. Like, Ali was known for standing up for Black Americans, and LeBron is known for standing up for Black Americans. Had he went in on China, then you go to a whole nother level where you are speaking on behalf of all oppressed people in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that would have been his Ali moment. Yeah. So, all right, let's throw it out to the callers as we always do. 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. When it's all said and done, will LeBron go down in history as one of the greatest athlete activists of all time? Or really, will he go down as greater than or equal to Muhammad Ali in terms of athlete activism? There's no doubt I think he's ahead of just almost everybody else. Kareem, Bill Russell is obviously huge, Jim Brown. But what about compared to Ali? 877-99 on Fox.
All right, Mark in North Carolina. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
Hey, guys. I just wanted to take a quick second to thank you guys, Chris and Rob, for talking about the things that you do. I actually don't have an opinion on the LeBron thing. I just wanted to say thank you. I'm thinking about the times when you were talking last year in the College World Series about the Vandy players and the Michigan players, all the Black players, and how that impacted you. I think about even last night, you guys talking about your experience as Black journalists, with all access passes getting stopped. And, that kind of stuff is really important for white listeners like myself to hear. And that's just why I wanted to call, just to say thank you for doing what you do. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you,
Mark. And let me ask you this, Mark. And we had Jeff Goodman kind of alluded to it himself. I hope Mark's still there.
I'm here.
And Goodman said, when he tweets something about the players or Black Lives Matter, supporting what they're standing for, he gets tons of pushback. You as a white person, are you getting, whether it's pushback or just when you talk to other whites about what's going on as far as the racial unrest, are you seeing a lot of, indifference or just downright, don't care about it, or even worse from whites? Or what kind of range are you getting among white people as far as responses to this situation?
Well, if I'm being honest, I live a little bit in sort of a liberal bubble, so I don't get so much in the way of extreme pushback. I think the worst thing that I typically see is indifference. But, obviously what I'm learning and what we're all learning is that indifference is almost just as dangerous right now. So,
right.
That's
it
my
is, because
right
it's almost signing off on it by acting like you shouldn't be outraged. I don't care who you are. You should be outraged at some of the stuff that we see. Mark, thanks a lot. Thanks for your knowledge and your support.
Yes.
We appreciate you a lot. All right, Pierre in South Florida. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Pierre?
Gentlemen, I appreciate the conversation, man.
Thank you.
I know it's a tough one, but I don't think LeBron, and I hate to even have to choose, standing up for what's going on now, I think it's amicable. It takes a lot of courage, but the fact that Ali went to jail because of it, because of his stance, I think will always have him as number one in my book. But
right.
I don't take anything away from what LeBron's doing and what any of these players are doing. Because
Pierre, that's fair. That's a fair take.
No, that's very
because
fair.
Chris even brought up,
and it's accurate.
We got to be honest. Ali, this is different. Back then when Ali was boxing, you weren't making a $50 million for a fight, Chris. You know what I mean?
Ali
you had to fight to make any money.
Yep.
And it wasn't about TV money. It was the gate. It was totally different. So
When he was
easily
not
people could have
fighting
stopped fighting. Right.
Right. For those 3 years, he was not living law. In fact, Joe Frazier gave him money.
Yep.
He gave him money to take care of his family before they had their big fight at Madison Square Garden. So good call. Good call.
All right. GW in Cincinnati. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What you got?
What's going on, fellas? Hey, could you
What's
guys
up?
do me a odd couple favor and wish me a belated birthday? Because
Happy birthday, my man.
I
When was
appreciate it, man.
Now, it ain't
Actually-
too belated, is it?
No, actually, it was yesterday, Chris.
Okay.
So you guys gave me the second present. The first present was the boycott game yesterday, guys. I'm like you, Chris and Rob. I was so proud of these athletes, man, for finally doing this. But let me say this, Chris, this goes back to, you talked about the mythology of Muhammad Ali and, and trying to compare LeBron on even his level. Just think about it. And you brought up a great point. Had there been an odd couple, and I'm just bringing you out because you guys are my favorite, had there been an odd couple back during Ali and the Thriller in Manila, you would have brought up the fact that, hey, why are you in this country where they have a dictator, who's doing horrible things to his people? But,
Right.
I actually appreciate the fact that they have that lore in the mythology back there. Again, guys, I turned 53 yesterday, so we're all in the same circle. For the times where you couldn't tell me anything bad about Muhammad Ali, but I'll end with this. I've always said that LeBron always wanted to be in the same level with a Russell, a Bill Bradley, a Jim Brown, a Rosie Greer, a Oscar Robertson, a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think that actually might mean more to him than being the GOAT and passing Michael Jordan, honestly. And I think that'll be his living legacy. And when you think about it, guys, think about a young man being compared to A, the greatest basketball player in the world, and B, one of the greatest athlete activists in the world. That's a damn good life.
No, that's real. That's a good call. It might. I'm not sure, but it might mean more to LeBron to be one of the top athlete activists ever. More so than to go. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe not. But I think it's fair to at least wonder about that because he has done so much. All right, good call from GW.
All right, Max in Georgia.
Did you wish him happy birthday, Rob?
You're on the Odd Couple Fox
Did you
Sports
wish him
Radio.
happy
What's up,
birthday?
Max?
Happy birthday on behalf of Rob.
Chris.
What's up?
What's up,
Chris,
man?
I got to rope you in a little bit. I know you gave LeBron his criticism on China, and rightfully so. Nobody's perfect. Not Jordan, not Ali, certainly not LeBron, and I think he will not pass either one of these guys. I think he's a bit of a fraudulent social justice warrior, and I want to explain what I mean by this. What I mean is he seems to front run. He doesn't want to come out too far. He doesn't want to go out too far. He waits till somebody else tweets something, retweets something, and he will go with it. And I respect him for that because he does have a platform and he does have a way of communicating with people all over the world about things. Having said that, when he really dropped the ball with China, that was big for me because his excuses were the facts of he's not informed enough, he shouldn't have spoke up about it.
Right.
And to me, you can say those things about other people, whether it's blacks, whites, Asians. It goes around. So when you say that excuse one time, you can't hold it against the other race when they use it against you. If you want equality, you got to treat everybody the same every time.
Now, wasn't he first up on Trayvon, though? Right? In fact, that was one of the things that really kicked off this whole movement. That was 2012, I believe. Kicked off this whole movement. Was it 2012, Rob G? Check me on the year. But that kind of kicked off the movement of, this whole generation of socially active athletes. So I got to disagree on that one. But good call. Good try by Max. I know he's Rob Jr.
Using the term
him.
misinformed for Daryl Morey was a mistake. That he was misinformed.
He dropped the ball. He could have just been like, I'm not sure about everything, to be honest, going on over there, so I'm not going to comment. He could have said that without going
attacking
in on
Daryl Morey, right?
Yeah.